This is our 20 through 11 game. We're getting there.
20
Slowly
through 11
surely.
game?
Games.
Oh, I thought you said game.
Our top
There we
games,
go.
20 through 11. This thing is not made for this, by the way.
No.
That little microphone
Wind
thing.
windscreen.
Windscreen.
Yeah, for those who were listening to the podcast, Dean's windscreen was hanging off of his microphone and it was about to topple.
It's not a lot of wind coming through here, so I don't know how necessary that is.
Ooh, okay. Let's
All right.
On that note,
John is going to be starting off today.
let's see who wins this list.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
That's good.
All right, let's go. Let's dive right into this bad boy. My number 20 is Clans of Caledonia, which is ranked 53 overall. And, you know, I hate it, Dean, but I haven't played this one in a while. But it's one of those that, like, it's probably been a year. So it always makes you nervous about putting it on your list. But it's always one that I play and go, I should play that more often. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, when you and I played this game, we liked it a lot. For those who haven't played this game, you basically kind of have this player board that you're putting these things out onto the map, whether you're getting sheep or bread or whatever, and you're building this engine, but it's an economic type game where you're trying to basically buy low and sell high, right?
Yeah.
And whenever you're selling things, it's making the market value less. Whenever you're, you know, of course, there's ways to make it increase. I'm doing a great job explaining this game.
It's gotta be your goal.
It's been like a while since I've played it, but anyways, and you have to get those contracts, those little export contracts, which can be so grueling in this because Dean took the one that I want, and I've been planning for it, and it's a really excellent game. There it is.
Can't stop thinking about that now. You can get a good look at a butcher by sticking your head up a bull's butt.
Yeah.
Dang it, Richard.
Yeah.
What's that from? You got that?
That is from Biodome.
Biodome is an excellent movie.
I watched Biodome
also Tommy Boy
100 times whenever I was a teenager, probably.
Okay, I had Clans of Caledonia on my list. I think even last year, and I gave this a 9 when we.
Yeah,
I think that's right. I love this game. It didn't make my list this year, but for the exact same reason that you're talking about. I have played it online within the last year, but it's just not the same. That's any game, but I really, really love this game a lot.
Yeah, that's on Board Game Arena. We should play that sometime.
Yeah, you know, John, quick plug here. We have a Residents of MeepleTown guild on Board Game Arena, and we play games every day.
It's true.
Multiple times a day.
And I don't give a rat's about it, apparently.
No.
I feel terrible.
Once you start playing async games, I think you would like it a lot more.
Okay.
Because then you can just I take about 10 minutes in the morning, and then if I have time in the evening, take that much time.
Just to take a turn.
Play my turns.
On several games.
Yep. I've got, I think 9 on there, and maybe 5 on. I know people who have hundreds going on, and I can't do that, but anyway, we should do that.
There it is.
I might be talking about some games that I have been playing on there.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see. My first one, 20. Number 20 game. We're
killing this one.
Malfunctioning. Puerto Rico.
Oh, it's because you got flustered because the colonizing theme and Dean's a real nice guy.
No, they're redoing it.
I know.
Yeah.
He's a real nice guy, and he's always concerned that he's offending somebody.
I love people.
Yes. And so I just like to call it out.
In Puerto Rico, you're colonizing people. Now, they are redoing this. There's a re-theme in the make that's going to be happening. I don't know what the differences are for that. Honestly, I haven't looked enough into it. No, but that is not why it's dropped. It's just, this is another one I played a ton. I mean, This was like a top 5 game for me for a while.
Yep.
I've just played it a lot over the years. Game. Yeah. I guess I haven't logged all my plays in here. I don't log a lot of my plays. This has got 15 times that I've played. I've played a lot more than that. Anyway, in this game,
you played that a ton.
You are selecting different actions and taking those actions based on the cards. And if you're the one choosing the action, I will get, if I choose this card that is a craftsman that lets me produce things, then I can take a better version of that action than anyone else, even though everyone else gets to take it as well. And then you are building up these buildings. You are putting these colonists on the buildings. You're putting the colonists on the plantations.
Oh my!
Gaining more and more stuff and getting money so that you can get more victory points, and that's it. Love this game a lot. I am really enthused, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, about the reimagining of this. I will definitely check that out for sure. Anyway, that is Puerto Rico, my number 20. Woo!
All right.
I'll do better.
Well, so far we're hitting it out of the park.
Knocking it out of the park.
Tell you what, my number 19 is a game is not on Dean's list.
Puerto Rico is number 37 overall, I think, by the way. Sorry about that.
It's okay. I know that Dean loves my number 19, and he's been playing it lately. Ranked 43 overall, 35 strategy game, 8.1 on BGG. Vladimir Suki game, who I love, Underwater Cities.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. Some would say the Underwater Cities is the Terraforming Mars of the sea. I would say it's way better, if that's the case. And it's not quite. It's different. And I like it. What I like about it is, even though you have all these cards, and I think that's why people, say it's like Terraforming Mars, you don't have 15 cards in your hand at one time, which is what I don't like about Terraforming Mars. Some people like that. I like how you have like 3 cards and you have these grueling decisions of, I want all 3 of these dang cards, but I can't have them. What do I do, Dean? What do I do? And that's why I like the game. There's also some of these really satisfying moments of huge engine building, right? Like all of a sudden you're like, do production and all kinds of stuff, man. You're getting all kinds of stuff, which I love. And I do like the card play, how when you play the card with the colors, you get the bonus for doing that if you play red on red, green on green, so forth and so on. Everything about this game is pretty much fantastic.
I would agree with this. I've got a game, 2 games of this going on in Yucatan right now. Better in person for sure. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a fun game. I am not very good at it. I'm going to talk about this one in a little bit though.
Oh.
Today.
I just want to say that if you hear a little weed whacking or weed eating, there's a little weed eating going on in MeepleTown today. 100%. I just want to throw this out here for controversy. It's a weed eater. Prove me wrong, weed whacker fans.
Okay.
You say weed eater from Michigan? What are they saying? Michigan?
At this point, I say both of them. Really, just whatever. I open my mouth and something comes out. It's one of the 2. Yeah.
And would you say in Michigan the predominant name is weed eater or weed whacker?
I always heard weed whacker growing up, and
That's what I thought up north.
My dad still says it.
That. Yeah, there's a lot of weed whacking, but we like to eat our weeds around here.
Yeah. All right, my number 19 is a game that I haven't played in a while either, but I know that I love it. It's Rising Sun. This is another Eric Lang game. This is a command game.
Love him.
Yeah. This is another area control game. I just love area control games. I think that's got to be my favorite, and I'm not...
It pretty much is, right?
...often great at them, but this is going to be another challenge of finding these pictures that aren't just a bunch of components to put on here if you're watching this online. So this, again, area control, interesting piece about this is you are taking these different actions, actually kind of like Puerto Rico, you're taking these different tiles and you are choosing one of them to take an action, and then I'll get this action. And if I am tied with you, John, in the sense of like if you and I made this deal, we made this pact at the beginning of the round,
then you would stab me in the back.
You could stab somebody in the back for sure, but then you lose honor, and it's not always worth it to do that. But you're going to get a bit of a bonus if you're teamed up with me, and I'll get bonuses if I'm teamed up with you on the actions that you're taking, and you are seeding the board kind of with your different monsters, just like all of these Eric Lang, Blood Rage, Rising Sun, and Ankh games. You can also draft monsters, and your warriors, just again like Blood Rage, and then at the end of the round, I guess you're going to battle out all these different territories in a specific order, and get victory points that way. Now the combat in this one slows the game down a little bit, and some people don't like that, but it's an interesting auction mechanism of how you're going to battle things out. I really like this game. The problem is I just don't get it to the table, which is frustrating because I think you would really like this one, John. I think
ever since we started MeepleTown, you've been talking about how we need to play this game.
Yeah, I don't want to go crazy, but I could see you, if you like this better than Blood Rage, it wouldn't surprise me. For me, it's...
Wow.
I mean, obviously you know that
serious.
I love Blood Rage, but yeah, a lot of people do. A lot of people like this is their favorite of those 3 games, and Also, each of the different factions plays differently. They have special abilities, which is a big plus because you don't see that in all games like that, like Blood Rage. But anyway,
There you go.
that's Rising Sun, my number 19. This one's also really high. Let me see what it is on BGG. It is ranked 107 overall, so not bad.
Sounded like you were expecting it to be ranked a little higher.
I was thinking it was a top 100 game, but still,
It may
107
have
is crazy high.
Yep.
I'm interested to know what Ankh is now, but I'm not going to look that up right now.
Speaking of ranked 107, let's talk about a game that's ranked number 2 overall.
Number 2.
How about that?
Okay.
Brass Birmingham.
Ooh,
Did this make your list?
we'll see. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
We have a lot of overlap today.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't own this game.
this is one of my favorite designers too.
Yeah.
Mark Wallace.
Yeah, you love him, which is good. It's good. I don't own this game because my wife hated it whenever we played it. It was just too much for her, which I kind of understand. But yeah, anyways, in Brass, I mean, you've got like a lot of cool things going on. I think that the main thing that I like about Brass, one of the main things that I like about it, is the fact that you have those two distinct eras in the game that makes it feel like, you know, you have the rail age, you have the canal age, that makes it feel like there's this big shift. And I love that in games that keeps you engaged. It's not the same thing for every single round, and you're just doing the same old. You have to really plan in Brass for this big shift that's going to take place with that coal kind of age that's coming. And I love that about the game. So cool. I'll wait and we'll talk about it more. I don't want to steal all of Dean's thunder because I think there's a couple games maybe that I've already talked about that he's going to talk about later. So I'm just going to say I love that part about it, and I'll talk more later probably.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of things that I love about this game. Quite a bit. I'm surprised. I knew this though. When's the last time you and Larissa played this?
A year and a half ago or something, probably.
This seems like something she would really enjoy.
It's one of the, I think it's one of those things. Well, it has a little bit of fiddly rules sometimes with the way the cards come out, and then depending on your age.
The tiles can be kind of weird.
And the tiles, and I think that's what she wasn't excited about it. It may be one of those like Newton that we played recently, which is a lot heavier than Newton. That she goes, wow, why was I so confused there?
Yeah, I think this is a pretty smooth game once you have an idea of what you're doing.
I think
but
so.
It can take a minute to figure that out.
Kind of wrap your mind around a little bit.
Yeah, to get your bearings or whatever.
Yeah, I think that this is one that if I owned and was able to play more often, it could be one of my top games of all time. Like, I mean, it is obviously, but I could see this as being like a top 5 game. I don't play it enough to be able to make it that.
Yeah,
I really like it a lot.
Yep. This is a fantastic game. There's also a digital implementation of this on Steam, which is fun to play on there. So anyway, and I think Lancashire is somewhere available to play online too. All right, speaking of terraforming the sea, my number, what are we at, 18? You'll have to look that up for me. My number 18 is Terraforming Mars. This is ranked 6 overall. I think this might be a little higher on your list, maybe. I don't know. Have you talked about this?
It's not on my top 50.
Gas.
It's not on my top 50. It should maybe be.
Maybe be.
It should be.
Oh man, Terraforming Mars is so good, so good.
There are some really cool, satisfying things about Terraforming Mars that I like. I've less liked the games where you have like a million cards. You're like, well, how do I make this? That's why I don't think I loved Ark Nova.
Yes.
If I don't play the game regularly, I don't know what matches with things as well. And so like I think this is again one of those like lifestyle games like Ark Nova would be, that if I played it all the time I might really like it, but since I don't, then it's fun. I really like Terraforming Mars.
Yeah, I totally get that though. I think you're pretty accurate on this one. It can be a longer game too, depending.
That's
on
the other piece is I usually don't play that long of games anymore.
Yeah. So this one again ranked 6 overall. You are drafting cards and you're using those cards to terraform Mars. And that's not the only way. You can do it through these different actions that you can take outside of your cards by paying money or paying heat or whatever to put forest out there, to put cities out there. You're going to put oceans. So once you reach the the correct temperature and all the oceans are out there and the oxygen level gets to a certain level,
it's a great game.
Then you're going to end the game. Now, that's one thing. You can really delay the end of the game if things aren't happening quickly. Now, somebody who plays this game a lot, like Tony in our area who plays this game a lot, would say, that's crazy. It's still a pretty fast game. But for the average bear,
that's that throwback to the podcast.
Throwback. This is the podcast.
I'm just saying, if you're watching on YouTube, you don't get that reference.
That's right.
MeepleTown, podbean.meepletown.com. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, all that good stuff. It's not iTunes anymore; it's Apple Podcasts.
Anyway, that's what you're doing, and there's a lot of card drafting in this one that can slow the game down as well. But I still really like it. Now, if you're like a diehard fan of all Dean's picks and you know every pick that I've ever had, you might say, Dean said he's talking about underwater cities, but he just talked about Terraforming Mars.
Uh-oh.
I usually have Terraforming Mars higher than underwater cities, I believe. I think that's right. Not this year. And that's partly because I play underwater cities more than I play Terraforming Mars, the digital implementation, although I play it on the iPad frequently as well. I think this is really fun, but it's that bloated piece that you don't see as much in underwater cities that gives it the nod this year. So anyway, who knows what next year is going to hold. That's my number something.
So that is your number
18.
That's your number 18 now.
18, Terraforming Mars with Prelude, by the way. I got to throw that in there.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right.
Prelude's nice. Okay, my number 17 is the biggest fall of one of my top games on my list.
Is this your number 1?
It was my number 2 last year, and it's now number 17. That's Ginkgopolis.
It's going to be off your list next year.
No, Xavier Voorhees game. Gink is really cool because it has tile placement. It has area control and majority, and you build an engine with the cards that you're playing, and you have those tough decisions that I love of, I have these 4 cards I think in my hand, which one am I going to play and how am I going to play it, in multi-purpose cards because they can be used to do all kinds of different things, expand the city, build up in the city, get resources or whatnot. I love this game. It's a phenomenal game. It mashes together a lot of mechanisms that I like, and it sings beautifully. I think that it's fallen for me because I've played it at 2 a lot, and it's just not as good at 2.
Yeah,
I like it, but I think I've played it at 2 too much, and it's kind of fallen a little. And I don't know. Has it got a little samey for me? Maybe. I got the expansion, which was really cool. If you're back to the podcast that we talked about, second printings and stuff like that. I'm so glad they second printed this. I'm so glad they have the expansion that you can get. And I do like the expansion, but I actually don't feel like it just blows my mind or anything. Like, I think I could play it fine without it.
Yeah, I have the first edition of this, and so I'll stick with that, I think. But yeah,
it's a great game.
I also love Ginkgopolis. I will talk about that later.
Wow, that's an unbelievable amount of crossover that we have.
Yeah.
We don't usually cross over that much.
And I feel like for games that you typically have ranked higher than me, like Brass Birmingham, I think you had higher last year. Gink, you had higher. Interesting. All right, my next one.
Here we go.
17.
Speaking of crossover.
Speaking of terraforming the sea, Underwater Cities is all the things that John said. I really enjoy this game. I love that I can play this online. The online implementation is really good. I actually just picked up the expansion for this because I did want those dual layer boards. I say just, it's been months now at this point. But yeah, I really like this game. It's funny because you might think, oh my goodness, what is this I'm looking at? Somebody really... Is
that your copy?
No. Wow. You're not seeing this on the podcast, but...
Dean needs to...
Sweating over here.
Take his computer to another room while he's looking at this board game, I guess.
Somebody took these submarines, like, I
got
guess...
them flush.
3D printed submarines and... Yeah, I can't even talk. So excited. Anyway, it looks great. I want to do this now. I want to 3D print some of these things out. Okay, I was going to say, one of the games I played recently, I built up, I think I had a city in every place on the board, and I lost the game.
Wow.
And it made me think...
You must suck at the game then.
Oh, probably. Yeah, I think I do. I've won some games.
I think you've beaten me, so I must really be bad.
What I wanted to get at with that, though, is this is one of those games you can do a lot of stuff and not score a lot of points. And sometimes I don't love that, you know? 'Cause sometimes I'm like, I want to be getting points for the things that I'm doing.
Because like I see all this. Look at my creation.
My city looks way better than yours, you know? Like you can have that mentality, but then you score more points because who cares what my city looks like? I'm getting points from other ways. I don't care in this game. I still like it. I don't love the objective cards in this game, though. I will say that. It seems like a weird tacked on thing to me. And I recently heard Blue Peg, Pink Peg, I forget who was talking about, saying that when they play it, they don't play with the objective cards. And I kind of want to try that next time, especially for newer people if you're not
I like those cards.
aware of what's going on. It's just, they tend to be kind of expensive. And anyway, it is what it is, but it's not my favorite thing probably in the game. Ooh, somebody 3D printed some things to stack your little buildings in as well. Wow. I need to get on here more often and see what I can do to my game. Underwater Cities number 17. Woo. Oh, hot and bothered. John, what's your number 16?
I want to apologize to MeepleTown for my number 16, as I already have. There are times whenever you're wrong about games, and dead wrong sometimes. I wasn't dead wrong about this one, but I was really wrong when I rated this initially 7.5 out of 10. That's Dune Imperium. From 7.5 out of 10 to 16 overall at my top best games of all time. This is the most recent. Dean, you know, he plays a game, I mean, the next day it's in his top 5. That's just the way he does. For me, I gruel about letting these, you know, games that have come out the last year or two or whatever be in my top 50.
Uh-huh.
This is the most recent, I'm pretty sure, game that's even in my top 50. I don't think I have anything from 2020. Do I? 2020, 2021, except for this.
Does that make you better than me because of that?
It does.
Okay.
Basically, that's what I'm getting at.
Oh, okay. Well, I just wanted to clarify.
I'm better than you, and my list is better than yours.
Okay, all right. I had Dune Imperium on my list.
I'm going to hold my pinky finger up the whole time I talk about this. But you know what, Dean? You were right about this over... No, actually, we rated it the same. Never mind, you weren't. I was going to try to give you some street cred, but no reason to.
Rated this?
I think we both give it like that, didn't we? Or did you give it a higher than
No, I think it was like an 8.5 for me.
Okay, well then you're right.
It's just I said I liked Arnak better at the time.
So someone's mowing MeepleTown now.
It's like they know. They heard you.
I mean, like, we don't even record anything anymore, hardly. Like, the exact moment we decided to, they decided to mow. All right. So in Dune Imperium, what I love about it is simply, I like the worker placement, the way it works, and how you have so few, and it feels really, really tight. In addition to that, you have the card play that I think is just so excellent in this game. You're playing a card, you're trying to make sure everything matches up the best you possibly can, building your deck over the course of the game, which is so interesting because I've played this times wherever what you just said about underwater cities, where I think I've got the perfect deck and I lose because I take too much time worrying about my deck, and Dean's just scoring points. Like that happened last time we played together. Like I was like, man, I've got a better deck than him, but it took too long for me to get to it, and he won. And he won by several points, I think. But I like that about it. We play so many games that are who scores most victory points wins. Who scores most victory points? I like it when there's another idea of win condition or a race to element of it, and that's what this gives me, and I love that. And then I love the combat and those tough decisions of pushing my luck. Is Dean going to be able to pull off having a few more folks in his garrison ready to go, garrisoned up, and throw them into battle? Everything about this game sings, and every time I play it, I go, God, this is good.
Yeah.
I got the first expansion. Is the second one out yet?
No, not yet.
It's not, right?
Not yet.
And I probably helped that I read the book, and I hadn't read it before, and that really upped it for me.
Yeah,
because it just makes me want the theme better. And, yeah,
it makes me want to read it again, actually, or read some of the other books in the series. But I'm with you. I think this game.
My brother read The Messiah and said it was really good.
Oh, yeah.
Just FYI.
Okay. Okay. Might have to do that. Yep, I'm with you though. I think this is fantastic. The tension in this game is through the roof. I'm with you.
There it is.
I think this game will probably rise overall.
For me. This one could for me. My wife loves it. I love it. Every time we play it, it's just like I could play that again right now,
I had one play that wasn't my favorite because it took too long, and that knocked it for me a little bit. But then we played it again like a week or two after that, 3-player.
Yeah, we played with Brian, who hadn't played it before either, and it still went
amazing.
fast.
Yeah.
It was pretty quick.
Yep. All right, that was your number what?
16 overall.
Number 16. It is also ranked, I think, number 16 or
number
something.
15.
15, there we
it's
go.
Really close.
All right, my number
16.
16.
It's not that complicated. he's still a little flushed.
My number 16.
Looking at those underwater cities.
This will cool me down a little bit. There's not a lot of great components in El Grande.
That's right. You just went from a beautiful, pretty woman to a.
Here we go. Where are you going with this? All right. El Grande is not the new hotness, John. This game came out in '95. This is ranked 87 overall. It is another area control game, done differently than the other ones I've talked about today. It's pretty unique too, because you are basically, you're playing a card in front of you that's going to say, here's how many troops that I'm going to get. Mm-hmm. However, this number is going to determine my player order. So if you play a higher number, you're going to get less troops, but you're going to be able to go quicker in turn order. I may have reversed that, but anyway, you get the idea.
Yep.
And then you're going to, in player order, draft these cards that allow you to take your actions, and those actions are really interesting. They're, moving new troops out there. They're scoring different areas. It's all kinds of things that can happen, and I just love how all that plays out. Mm-hmm. Is this a new version of this? What is this that I'm looking at?
Oh, that's an online.
That's an online version. Okay. Anyway, love this game.
What do you play? What is the online? Is it on Steam? Excuse me.
I haven't seen it on there, but I'm going to go back and look. That you can play this on Board Game Arena. Yes, I've played it.
Oh, they have it on Board Game Arena?
Yes. Most of the games that I'm talking about, I can play on Board Game Arena. I haven't played this one in a while. This is actually MeepleTown, Residents of MeepleTown Guild of Board Game Arena. We need to get some games of El Grande going. Yes, I played both of those. Anyway, love this game so much, and you can play a lot of players. It's pretty easy to introduce to new players. This actually can be a gateway for this genre for sure. Actually,
100%.
One of the last times we did a church game day, we introduced it. It was new to everybody, I think, but me, and we played the full count of 5 players. And everyone grasped it very easily. I mean,
even players that hadn't really played many games.
Yes.
Like just played a few,
Yeah. Anyway, El Grande, my number 16.
Great game, great choice. Man. But, I say that, wait. It is your number 16. My number 15, let's just say the name of this game is actually the title of Dean's list. That's Bora Bora.
I don't get it. You're saying my list is boring?
Can I be honest with you? I came up with that one an hour or two ago, and I've been waiting to say it the whole time.
It seems like you could have come up with something better at that time.
I mean, literally, I've been waiting since we started recording the podcast to say it's the title of Dean's list.
The funny thing is, our list is almost exactly the same today. There's a lot of overlap.
That's why it didn't really feel right, but it still was satisfying to say.
This game's great, by the way. So good.
I played Bora Bora 2 nights ago with my wife. Stefan Feld game, and it is, Dean. It is phenomenal. In this game, you have these objectives that you're trying to hit, but they come so fast and furiously, it feels like, in the game. And you have 3 die that you're rolling, and when you have those dice, you're only getting 3 actions unless you do some combo stuff, which is all about the game, right?
That's all Stefan Feld games.
Yes, mostly. That's right. And what's I think is intriguing, the more I play this, I wasn't sure if I liked the dice rolling part of it when I first started playing it. You can roll bad. Now there are god cards to mitigate that, but I would say there could be a little bit of luck to the game based on that. But what's intriguing is the higher the dice value, the more powerful your action. However, when you go to a worker spot and place your die on there, if Dean has placed a 5 on there already, I can't place it on there unless I place a 4 or less. Or I have a god card that allows me to do that. Which can be interesting because let's just say I chuck, 3 6s and I'm like, all right, that's high, big powerful actions. But Dean chucks a 2, 3, and a 1. Mm-hmm. When he goes there, I'm screwed. Like I can't do anything about it. Or it can be really bad too if you just roll 3 of the same number. Which I hate that. Like I hate when I'm all like, hey, there's 3 4s. You're like, dang it, because I can't go lower if I want to do the same action twice. Mm-hmm. So that mitigates, like, sometimes I kind of like a mixture of high numbers with some lower numbers.
I do too. I like in games where it's not, the high number is always better, and this is one of those good examples of that.
And then you're going out and you're doing some kind of area majority. Not really area majority. You're kicking people out for points at the end of the game here on this map. You're exploring. You're getting jewelry. You're getting men and women to work for you, I guess, or they're in your tribe, in your civilization. I don't know. I don't know what the theme is, and you're tattooing them and different things like that, and it's so fun. It's such a satisfying game, and it's a really great length. I think 2 players, we probably played it in an hour and a half at the most, maybe a little less than that, and just loved it.
Yep, fantastic game. Bora Bora, one of it's a top 5 felt for me. I'm pretty sure. I think that's right. Maybe top 3. I can't remember.
If you want to hear Grumpy John come out, go back and listen to the podcast, and I went on a little bit of a rant about how I'm not thrilled with the way Queen Games is handling these
next year when John does the list, it's going to be Cusco instead of Bora Bora.
And this is just for the YouTubers out there that are watching on YouTube. I just want to say, if they just did reprints of the games, would be cool with that, and I'd be super happy that more people got into their hands. I liken it to the Beatles deciding to re-record their albums, do all new artwork, change the titles of it, and here's the new and improved Sgt. Pepper's, or here's the new and improved Revolver. I'd be like, no, why are you doing that? They're already so good. It's weird. It's almost cringy to me, and I hate it.
My number 15 game of all time is Imperial Settlers Empires of the North.
Number 15, Bora Bora. Talk about cringy picks.
This is a Portal Games game, and I love this game so much. I love that there's different factions. All the factions play out so differently. I actually started to do a video on this, and I never was able to complete it because I wanted to get the newest expansion, and I have it, and I've played it, and I just never went back to the video of ranking all of my different factions. So this game, it's like Imperial Settlers if you've played that. It's like 51st State if you've played that, where you are just playing cards and you have to pay the resources to play the cards. And the cards do lots of different things. They might give you production. They might allow you to take different actions. They might just give you points at the end of the game or whatever. The difference in this game and the other two is that you have, and by the way, I've kept all 3 of these games in my collection. I don't know if I should, but it is what it is. This game adds the element of worker placement, which I like that a lot because it helps you kind of get more of a boost at the beginning of the game and it helps you get started, a little bit faster. And so you can take an action to play a card, even if you don't have the resources for it. You can take resources. You can, lots of things you can do with the worker placement actions. And I think it's just really interesting. You only get 2 of those, but you can use them multiple times potentially if you have food to be able to place those. And then you have these different islands that you're going to go to and get these new cards that give you different things. I love this game so much, and I love that the different factions change it. Now, there's an expansion for this one coming out this year. I don't think it's out yet. This year or next year, I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look, that I'm really excited about. I'm hoping it does to this game kind of what in Imperial Settlers, that expansion, the Rise of the Empire, I think is what it was called, or something like that. Did to that game. So it's called Wrath of the Lighthouse. I don't know much about this expansion. I just know
that sounds really weird. Like, can a lighthouse be wrathful?
No, probably not.
I'm actually I'm intrigued. It's story-driven.
It's a story-driven solo campaign, which is pretty exciting because the solo in this is already fantastic. Yep.
Wrath.
Love this game. I wish you loved this game more. I really do.
Yeah, I don't.
This would be one that I
did at first. Remember how much I loved it when we first played it several years ago, the original, and then I don't know.
Your taste have changed. You don't like this style of game as much.
I don't. I would play it if you wanted to play it. I wouldn't be excited about it. But
the combos. It's so good, so good. For me, better than Underwater Cities and Terraforming Mars slightly, even though they have some similarities.
That sounds blasphemous.
similarities to Terraforming Mars, I guess. But anyway, that is
How can you say this is better than Terraforming Mars and Underwater Cities?
Imperial Settlers Empires of the North.
I'm not hating on the game.
It's ranked 403 overall. That's a crime.
I think we should boo you.
Okay.
We should social bully you.
I want to know if other people love this game.
Please don't do that.
Imperial Settlers is 269 overall. Yeah.
There you go.
Anyway.
All right, my number 14 is the rest of where we're at, right? My number 14 is a game. Hey, this has not been on my list ever.
Speaking of booing.
New to my list. I'm going to teach you about what a good game is.
What is it?
Teach you.
Bless you.
Do you mind handing me a Tichu? Okay.
Okay.
This, for years, Rook was my... I grew up playing Rook, was my trick-taking game. It's like, eating shepherd's pie. Like, homie, I like playing Rook or whatever. I kept hearing about this Tichu, and I've never played it until this year. I just kind of kept going, every time I play a new trick-taking game, I'm not really that intrigued. Like, I'm like, it's fine. Okay, that's cool, whatever. I will say that I don't even love calling this a trick-taking game, though I'm building up to that. It's more of a card-shedding game with partners, and you do win tricks, kind of, but it feels way, way different.
What?
What do you mean, what?
It's a trick-taking game.
Yeah, but you don't always play. In every other trick-taking game I think I've played, it goes around clockwise, and you have to play a card. In this one, you might not be able to play a card, because in this one, if I lead with 2 7s, Dean has to play 2 cards that are identical, that are higher. So he'd have to play 2 8s or 9s or jacks or whatever like that. If I play a full house, Dean has to play a full house to get in on this action, but it has to be higher. And then there's 4 cards that do different things, like the dogs switch, who's going to lead this turn, and interesting pieces like, hey, there's a phoenix that can be wild, but whoever wins that trick, that's a negative 25 points. Or the dragon, that is the highest single card in the game, but if you win that trick, you give it to one of your opponents. But at the end of the round, whoever goes out last has to give their cards to the opponents. So, interesting pieces of, yes, I won this, and I'm going to give it to Dean because Dean's not looking good on this hand, and I think he's going to go out last, so we're just going to get it back. I can't go through all the details of this. This game, if you like trick-taking games, I'll say that. Card-shedding games. This game is so freaking good. And it's, at first glance, I didn't realize how deep it was strategically. Because I feel like that's one thing that a lot of trick-taking games kind of hurts them, is it's kind of scripted, right? Do you feel me on that?
There's trick-taking games in general.
Yeah, like you pretty much know what you're supposed to do most of the time, and there are a few moments in a lot of trick games. Okay, what do I do? This game, there's a lot more to that. There's a lot more difficulty in trying to figure out, oh man, I'm gonna play this, but if they have a bomb and bomb me right now, I'm in trouble. I've got 7 cards in a row that I can play as a straight, but Dean just played a 5-card straight. I can beat him right now to take the lead. But if I do that, then those other 2 cards that I could have got rid of, they're still in my hand. That was perfect
I really do
timing.
need to teach you.
I know, that was perfect timing. What a wonderful game. If you haven't played this and you like those trick-taking games, get it to the table. Dean's played it online. He's played it online and said multiple times, I don't even know what I'm doing. And he's giving it he's being negative towards it.
Oh, I'm not negative towards it.
Yeah.
I just need to play
This game
it.
is great, Dean. You would love it. It's phenomenal. 14 overall, from 0 to hero.
I feel bad for my partner on that game right now that we're playing. Again, a Residents of MeepleTown game going on. Because I don't know what I'm doing. So you talking about it, I'm going to go back and listen to the podcast because I wasn't listening to you then.
Yeah.
Maybe I can hear some tips that will help me play in the game that I'm playing currently.
Okay, we just need to play online sometime and I'll teach you.
Okay, you'll teach me.
Okay.
Teach you.
14, teach you. Love it.
All right, my number 14, got it right this time, is Everdell. Everdell is another card game. This is ranked 30 overall. By the way, Tichu is 195. That's really high. That game came out in 91.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, it came out before then, but never mind. I'm not going to explain that.
Oh, okay. Good, thank you.
Yeah.
So, Everdell, number 30 overall. People really love this game too.
It's been on your list for ever since it came out.
This game is really similar to Imperial Settlers Empires of the North in a lot of ways, where you're tableau building and you are placing workers out. I mean, really, that's really similar to that game. This one has cute little woodland creatures, and you got a nice little tree in it, which is nice. The expansion stuff in this is really cool, really well done, but that's it. You're building these cards out into your tableau. You can only have 50 into your village or whatever it's called. And those cards do different things. They give you victory points at the end. Some of it's set collection for getting certain types of cards, and you'll be able to go claim these different rewards that give you victory points. Ultimately, at the end of the game, once you've played through all 4 seasons, you're going to be collecting any in-game victory points that you need to get, and that is the end of the game. I really like this one a lot. This is one, man, if I had 2 games, like, these are the only games I could play.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Everdell, Imperial Settlers Empires in the North.
Yeah.
There's just so much variety with these 2 games too, especially when you add in the different expansion stuff for this game. Super pumped about the new expansion things coming into my mailbox, hopefully this year. I think it's this year. Super pumped about that. I love this game so much.
There it is.
All the bits are really good in this game. Components, nice.
It's a great game. I really enjoyed it the first time I played it. Every time I use it as a step up from a gateway game, the people just love it, and want to buy it immediately. So it's fun.
Yep.
Good choice.
Everdell, number 15. That's how you talk about a game quickly.
Oh, there you go.
You talk about a trick-taking game for like 3 hours.
Let me rephrase that. Let me say this again. Everdell number 14, actually. You said 15.
Oh.
You said 15 twice. I don't know how many 15s you have.
14. You can see the numbers on your computer, and I cannot.
Yeah. All right, my number 13 is one that's been on my list for a very, very long time, and that is Russian Railroads, which are coming out with a new, talking about reprints, putting them all together. And I don't have those expansions. All I actually had was the original. I sold it because I was so excited about getting the new one, and good Lord, how long is it going to take for this game to come out? There's like bad cuts or something, like in America and US. I think they were supposed to have it towards the end of last year, and it's just in some kind of limbo.
You can play Ultimate online too.
I know. I've been waiting to get the hard copy though.
Yeah.
The physical copy. I really, really want it. Can't wait to get it. But in this game, worker placement, good combo reaction, super satisfying as you press forward your tracks and you lay your tracks. Right? I mean, isn't that, Dean? Doesn't it feel great to move the tracks forward?
Yes.
It does. It feels so good. And you have to move certain ones forward ahead of other ones. Like, you can't just shoot the other ones ahead. So you're like, oh, I got to move this forward so I can get this forward. So then I can get this combo over here. So satisfying and so good. Love it. Choo-choo, man. Russian Railroads, choo-choo.
I wish I was better at this game. I do. This is a game I want to be really good at, and I'm not. I'm just not. Yeah,
that's probably why it's so high for me.
It's this thing triggers this thing that triggers this thing.
Oh, that's good.
In this sense, it's really good. I love this game too. I think it's fantastic.
There's just so many. It just feels satisfying. Sometimes combos are like, oh, I did a lot of combos, whatever. For some reason in this game, it just satisfies me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a big old palitators.
Yep. The engineers are always fascinating to me in this one too. Like getting your own worker placement spot.
Yeah, it's cool.
I want to do that anytime I can. Even if I don't even care about that tile, I want to do it. Anyway.
Yeah, I'll give it to me.
Russian Railroads is your number
13. Russian Railroads.
13. What was that overall? Did you say?
I don't think I said.
Okay.
I can go back.
My
103.
103. My number 13 is a brand new game, John. I was just waiting for this one.
A
brand spanking new game called Foundations of Rome.
Okay, let me say something about it. Let me say something about this, okay? Excellent pick.
Yeah?
I usually don't say that about new games.
Okay.
Foundations Rome was freaking awesome. And I love Emerson Matsuuchi. I think he makes great games. I don't have a problem with you putting it that high in your list. It's that good. That's why everyone's selling it. But
I'm so happy right now.
I'm not paying $300 for this game.
Did you do the new Kickstarter?
No,
what was it on the new Kickstarter?
It's a good game, man. But there's very few games that I would pay anywhere close to that much money. And it's a shorter game, and you got to set it all up. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it looks beautiful, and I have a great time playing it. Awesome. If they ever come out with like a chiller version of this, for $60 with cardboard or something, I'll buy it the second it comes out. If I can get this on the DL from somebody for $150, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
but I need the expansions, and I don't need to pay $300.
Yeah, and that's one thing. So one of the negatives I hear when people talk about this game is I would love. Oh, that's interesting. Somebody's got some. We're gonna see some upgrades on here. So people don't like the idea of a highly produced game that is fairly light.
Yeah.
And I totally get that. I don't agree with it, but I get why people.
Yeah, they can do whatever they want.
Yes, that's right. For me, this game is light when you're playing the base version of it, but when you add in all the expansion stuff, it's not a heavy game, but it's midweight, and that's more of my jam. Usually I like it more in the midweight. But the expansion stuff is really cool. Adding the monuments, adding the different objectives, adding the the different cards that you put into the deck, adding what else am I forgetting? Your own special card that you start off with at the beginning. It gives you a special boost. All of those things and more. I really, really enjoy playing with all of it. But here's the thing. I love this game just playing the base game. I've played this a ton with the base game and introduced it to a lot of different people at this point. My wife and I really enjoy playing that too, but it also plays great at a higher player count. I don't think I've played it at 5 yet, but I've played it at every other player count. I think that's right. Anyway, I love this game so much. I just think it's fantastic. Who knows where this will be next year, but this is a game that I would imagine I'm going to continue to get a lot of plays. A lot of plays this year.
So here's a question I have, because I've thought about it. I think it's $140, if I'm wrong. $140 for the base game with no expansions. Dean, is it worth it? Because I'm being serious. Like I just thought, man, I felt like when we played, the expansions were really added a lot to it, and I just couldn't say, man, is it really worth $140 or $150 or whatever it is for just the base? I
would say maybe.
Maybe, okay.
It really depends on where you're at. For me, would I get it just for that? Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, I'd really have to think about that. But it's the thing is, like, how much am I getting it played? If you look at it, if I get this game that is super, super heavy and the same price, and I'm getting this played, 5 times more than that other game, then I'd say, yeah, it's worth it if you enjoy it. So for me, I guess it would be worth it, but I can't say that it would be for everybody for sure. I tend to like lighter games than what you do. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I like heavier games too, and yeah. I don't always have to have my games being really heavy. I need to paint my set, is what I need to do. After looking at these pictures, I know that I need to paint my set.
There it is.
Okay, that is number 13, right? Foundations of Rome, the new hotness.
Number 12, Keyflower.
820 overall on BGG.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
12 Keyflower.
Keyflower is my number 12 game. It is phenomenal. It is ranked 88 overall. I still remember the time, the day. This was our second podcast episode. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And I liked it and didn't love it as much. I just absolutely adore this game. I mean, it's so fun. You talked about auctions, Dean, but the way that the auction mechanism is intertwined, that's one thing that when it comes to auction mechanisms in games, sometimes I don't like them because I feel like it pauses the action for too long. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's like, oh, we were doing some cool things. This one, it flows seamlessly in the game because you're auctioning while you're going to worker placement. So you're going, oh man, I want to put 2 meeples over here, but I really need this spot. And if I don't do that, if I don't put the meeples, Dean's going to do it. I know it. And it's going to cost me 3 and I don't have 3. And so all those tough decisions and kind of building kind of an engine of, getting some resources and then getting the ones that, helping to score points, and you're expanding and you're flipping over tiles, and you can go on Dean's if you want to and take, some action over there, but he's going to get your meeple at the end. Cool, phenomenal, straight up amazing tile laying Euro. Number 12, Keyflower. I love it.
Yeah, so many unique things in this game. I like it a lot. It was on my list. I don't remember what number I had it at this point, but
this was on your list already?
Yeah. I've talked about it already.
Oh.
Last week, maybe? I think I talked about last week.
I hope it was last week.
Yeah, I think that's right. This game is phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Number 12, Keyflower.
Yep. Also kind of complicated, and I am not good at it. All right, my number 12 is a game John's already talked about today. That's Brass Birmingham by Martin Wallace. Again, number 2 overall. So many things that I like about this game. First time, I mentioned this before, but the first time I played this game, I was so, I guess confused might be the right word, as to how the game was going to play out once you reset the board. So the first part you're building canals, then you're building railroads in the second half. When I built canals, and then you take all those off. It's like, how are you going to put all these railroads out? And then the building actions just get crazier and crazier. And I really, really love this game. The interaction, there's two things especially.
Player interaction is great.
Player interaction is phenomenal because you can tear things or take things from other people, but they're getting a benefit
for it.
The more resources I take off John's tile, the more likely he's going to be able to flip it and score that. Yeah. And so that's really cool interaction. Also, the game is just smooth. You're taking one action. The actions that you're taking aren't difficult. The game can be complex, but the actions themselves aren't really. You're just playing a card and taking an action. And I love that. I love this game so much. And I prefer this to Lancashire overall, but it just seems more streamlined and seems more of a elegant type game to me. I would put this in that category of elegant.
There it is.
Brass Birmingham.
Love that game. That was my number something.
Now your last one for today.
My number 11 is...
This is going to make Steve O'Rourke very happy.
Really? He loves this game?
I think so.
Heaven and Ale. Oh, man.
I think it's him.
I'm a Kiesling fan. This is a Kiesling-Schmidt game. I love rondelles. And in this game, you've got a big old... Why don't you click on some pictures there? You're just staring at it.
290 overall.
290 overall. Oh, that's you were waiting for that.
Yep.
My bad. My me, dude. You're going around this rondelle, and while you're doing that, you're collecting these hexes, and as you're placing them on your board, you're deciding, do I put it on the sunny side, or do I put it on the shady side? And man, one side gets you points, and one side gets you...
points.
Cash. And so it's tough decisions, right, on like what to do on these. And you have these little guys little monks holding beer that you're trying to get up to go up a track. It reminds me kind of like what I liked about Russian railroads. It's just satisfying watching them go up, and it's difficult to do.
It's a struggle.
Yeah, and that's what I love games that are struggles. And it's like you don't just go, oh, I move this, I move forward 20 spaces. And some people love games like that. My wife likes that. She likes to score 400 points and to feel like, and I like it when it's more of a difficulty or struggle or whatever. And I moved up one spot. It took me 3 turns, but I did it. What's the deal with that person?
I've got a picture showing up on here if you're listening to the podcast. It's a meeple with. Like it's a deformed meeple is what it is.
It's got a cone head shooting out the back.
Yeah, it's like it's speedy. Like it's
it's the Flash.
Yeah,
it's so good. This game is wonderful. I love everything about it. If you like tile laying games, kind of puzzly games, also
racing to complete the objectives is
really
cool.
Because you have those tactical decisions of where to move, how far to move forward. And do I grab it now? Because if I don't grab this spot to score, then Dean might. And oh no, I don't know what to do. It's just so fun. Kenson Moore is a good expansion to it. It loosens it up a little bit, a little looser. So if it's too tight for you, I like it both ways. I can play it with expansion or without it. Heaven and Ale, amazing.
I tend to like the expansion a little bit better, but the cool thing is those monks, the tiles that come out that are the monks. Sometimes you want to race ahead because you want to get the ones that are more valuable than the other ones. So it encourages you to kind of jump farther than you might normally, especially towards the end of the game. You're right. This is a great game. I like this one a lot.
So good.
Another great...
Was it on your list?
It was not.
Ooh.
It was not. Yeah.
That's a bad decision.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You love beer games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if you like to drink beer, but you like beer games.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I like all of that. But Taverns of Tiefenthal is another one that fits in that theme that didn't quite make my list this year either. We're going to do our top 100. We're going to do an episode where we just blast through our other 50 because there's a lot of games that you say, I'm surprised it's sitting on your list, and it will be on that one. So my number 11 and the last one we're going to talk about today is one that John's already talked about. That is Ginkgopolis.
Okay.
I've not played the expansion of this one, and
and you still have it number 11.
Yeah, I don't know if I need to necessarily,
yeah.
But I also haven't. The
experts are pretty cool.
I've not played this one as much as you, I don't think, if I had to guess, because it hasn't felt samey to me because of the player interaction.
It shouldn't be samey. I mean, I'm saying like that's right. I don't. This is like that player interaction, area majority type of game that shouldn't feel really samey. There's no reason. It just has. It just for some reason it's gotten a little bit old, and I think it's just because I've played it 2-player. Anyway.
Yeah. It's funny. Again, another another area control game that is on my list. This one gets more of a nod than the other ones because of the different mechanisms that it has, because of the drafting that's involved in this. All of those things. The engine building. I really enjoy the engine building of this game. So much to really like about this game. Another game that's really kind of difficult for me to grasp. I tend to not do as good of a job as controlling these areas to get the points at the end game scoring, which ends up really hurting me a lot, but I still really love it. Fantastic game. That is Ginkgopolis, my number 11. All right, that's it. That is it. Let's finish this up next week, and then we can talk about some other things.
That's right, top 10. And then I've got some games that I at least got one game in particular. I'll just throw it out on the air. I want to review Carnegie.
Did you play that?
No.
Jonathan texted. I was like, who texted us about that?
Many people post and text me or something saying, I really love this game. So I'm trying to put Dean in a hard spot right now, to where if he says no, if you want us to review Carnegie, put it on the podcast, and on the Board Game Geek Guild 34/7. If you don't, tell us.
I have to play the physical version of this game.
And
I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on in this game when I play it online.
I heard it's not that bad though.
No, I bet that's the case, but sometimes it's harder for me to grasp online than it is in person.
Are you interested in that game?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'd like to play this one.
Can you say what game that you have right now that you would most like to review?
We've got a few, by the way. We've got a few. We just got Lacrimosa from, is that what it's called? It's the Mozart game from De Beer Games. Just came in the mail. Haven't had a chance to play it yet. Planet Unknown is one that Darren picked up for me, the Red Cathedral expansion. We've got a lot of stuff down the pipe that I'm ready to start reviewing stuff.
I just got It's a Wonderful Kingdom coming.
Ooh, I want to play that one too.
Yeah, because you liked It's a Wonderful World a lot, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Cool.
Trudvang Legends. You care about that one?
I don't even know what that is.
I'm painting it up so that you'll be happy.
Yeah.
You like when games are painted.
Maybe we'll do I pick one, you pick one. There's probably not a chance for us to play both.
That'll be 2 or 3 weeks. I'm not quite sure. Probably 3 weeks, I think, is when that's gonna. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, coming up, we're gonna get back to reviews. We're gonna start looking at more new hotness outside of just Foundations of Rome in my top 50. John, tell people how they can get in touch with us.
All right, if you're enjoying our podcast, we'd love for you to put a little rating on there on Apple Podcast or whatever you're listening on. If you are on YouTube, we'd love that thumbs up, that little subscribe, hit the subscribe button and bell for notifications. Let's support what we're doing. Go to patreon.com/MeepleTown. We're at MeepleTown Games on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and we're Board Game Geek Guild 3407.
Thanks for coming down to MeepleTown.
Thanks for joining us, and thanks to our Patreon supporters for making content like this possible. If you would like to become a Patreon supporter, go to patreon.com/MeepleTown. To follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, find us at MeepleTown Games. Finally, to connect with us and other residents of MeepleTown, you can join Guild 3407 at BoardGameGeek.com. Until next time, thanks for coming down to MeepleTown.